For landlords, by landlords. The Rent Perfect Podcast with David Pickron.
Scotty, how are you doing today?
That new intro, man, it just really hits.
Boom.
Yeah. I love it.
You're kind of, before we started the podcast today, you're kind of on fire today.
Yeah.
Like wrapping up some song.
You know, a little Missy Elliott.
You know, I love when you bring the energy to the podcast. Hey, we welcome you to the Rent Perfect Podcast. David Pickron here with Scott Aubrey. Hey, like us, subscribe, do whatever you do. We certainly appreciate you being here. We hope that we can give you something super interesting today. And what I kind of think we should cover today is surfing. What do you think? Do you think if people came here to listen about surfing?
You know, you and I look like a couple of surf rats. So, yeah, let's talk about surfing.
Okay, no surfboarding then.
Yeah.
What about longboarding?
Longboarding, snowboarding. I'm not really a board sport fella.
You're not?
No. I like rackets and clubs.
Okay.
Yeah. But while we're talking about boarding, we should. Yeah.
Let's, the only boarding a lot of landlords know is onboarding.
Correct.
I'm not onboarding anymore. I'm done onboarding. I think you waste too much time onboarding.
Yeah, the traditional onboard is a bit cumbersome.
With technology nowadays, we're just spending a lot less time on onboarding. So I want to recoin that phrase today.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Drum roll. I should drum roll you. Yeah.
Onboarding.
Onboarding.
Okay.
So O-N-E.
Just add the
boarding.
E.
Yeah.
It's not that hard,
Just add
right?
the E. Gotcha. Yeah.
So here's what my goal has been as I manage my properties. Now, as you know, I just bought another property. I'm now up to 17 properties. Didn't think I'd buy one in this economy, but something came up that kind of worked, and so I bought it. So doing a lot of onboarding nowadays with some of my midterm rentals.
Right.
You know, we're flipping those 3-4 times a year, so we seem to be always using this platform. And my whole goal is every time I touch something about one of my properties, it's under a minute. That's where the one comes in.
Right.
1 minute, onboarding. So we kind of timed ourselves a little bit around here on different parts of the Rent Perfect platform. And if you don't use us and use somebody else, that's fine. You should just be getting these same results. If not, you're wasting your time. Yeah. So come over to us and do some onboarding. Sending out an invite to an applicant, okay? 21 seconds.
That's pretty quick.
That's pretty quick. We used to have to take an application, email it, attach it,
meet them in the parking lot.
I mean, that was not 21 seconds.
That was that could have been a couple of days, so 21 hours maybe, but yeah.
So I could have someone respond to a Zillow ad or Furnish Finders or wherever I put my property up. They could respond, say, "Hey, I would like to apply." I don't use Zillow's applications. I don't want to look at them.
Right.
I don't want them to act like they apply. I just don't trust it, and I'm going to do everything in my own way anyways later.
Right.
So they'll say, hey, we want to see the property, show the property. And then, man, when I get to sending out that application to become my next tenant, 21 seconds. I love it. That's well under 1 minute in our onboarding.
Yep.
Okay. We made it on our screen, Scott, so instantly, right when somebody fills out their application, you can look at their credit report. You have a big score there. You have it all laid out in a way where I look at their credit report and I review it very, very well. And now everybody's different, but on average, 32 seconds. I know, not necessarily that I'm going to approve them, but I know that they're financially stable, healthy. You know, looking at their...
You haven't made your final decree, but you have at least a head start on this, right?
But I'm looking at their driver's license to make sure who they say they are, and their paycheck stub, and their FICO score within seconds of them finishing their application. They don't have to call me up and say, hey, I'm done. It comes right to me. Bing, done, push a button, look at it.
That little snapshot is an awesome thing. 32 seconds.
32 seconds, I'm like, hey, I'm well on my way. Might be canceling my online ads here real soon.
Right, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Then I wait for the criminal and eviction history to come in. On average, the way it's laid out, the way the data comes at you, you don't have to look at a report and look all the way down to the small little corner, small print. I know within 28 seconds of getting my criminal and eviction history, if they have one, if they do have one, what date was it, what was the address, how much, and do they still owe and was it paid? Okay? Quick. I'm quick. quick.
Yep.
Okay, because while I'm onboarding, I'm also living my life. So I'm not, hey, let me go into my office and sit down. I am in the middle of dinner with my family, a golf round, maybe working on another project. And if I'm doing everything in less than a minute, I'm not skipping a beat and stopping anything. Okay. So preparing the lease.
To me, this is the big one.
This
is the big one.
How?
In my mind, I think preparing a lease, this is going to be a 30, 40 minute slog through paperwork.
Right.
And I dread it.
No, absolutely.
Honestly.
And I'll be like with tenants in the past, I'll send you a lease. I'll get that to you maybe tomorrow or the next day. Right when they say, hey, I'll take it. We want it. We want to move in on the 1st. Okay, are you going to send me a lease? I'll have a lease to you in less than a minute. 53 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay? We have a wizard. It's 10-step wizard. Boom. But what's interesting about the wizard is most of the wizard is already filled in. It knows you. It knows your address. It knows your property. It knows your rent. It knows everything. You're just going confirm, confirm, confirm. Add these 2 residents or whatever, confirm, boom. Any additional information you talked about on the walkthrough, you'd put in granite countertops, you'd give them the first month free. Whatever additional things at the end is really all the time that it takes. Under a minute, I am doing a lease and having it signed, right? And then I'm signing it back and it's completed. So when it comes to this onboarding stuff and the lease, there alone.
Again, that's the revolutionary piece for me. Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to get rent. That's why we're all in this business, right?
Yep, yeah. And so I want to get it. I want to get it as quick as I can get it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Not waiting in the mail for a check.
Right.
I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not.
Yep.
I set up a rent schedule. Okay. 35 seconds. I set up a rent schedule to transfer the money from your bank account right to mine.
Yep.
It makes it super simple to set that up. 35 seconds when that process comes into play. That rent pay has actually changed. It's actually allowed me to sleep at night because I used to get up and think, wait a minute, rent's due on the 1st. Who owed me on the 1st, on the 15th? And I tried to keep it all in my head. And when I had 2 properties and 3 properties and 4 properties, it was easier. You get to 8, 10, 15, all of a sudden rent's coming on different days of the month.
Right.
It gets crazy. This takes care of it all for me. And what I love about it is I spend that little bit of time setting it up, but it contacts me when there's a problem. I no longer have to monitor, see.
Right.
I can log back in and look at my payment history, and that's super quick too.
But you're no longer counting days. I'm pulling the calendar out and going, were they on the 3rd and it's now the 7th? Is that 4 days? Was that?
Exactly.
The fact that it computes all this stuff for you and communicates it to you, it's pretty genius.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can set that up in 35 seconds. So that's so simple. Now, the one thing over my career that I have failed at, if you said, Dave, what's any one of these processes you have failed at? It was the move-in inspection.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, you've given them the keys. You go over to the property. You have to take your time out to do that, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to walk through the property with them and look at everything. And then if there's something wrong and you have to take pictures, you have to store those pictures and you have to put them somewhere that when you need them in 5 years, you remember where you even put them, right? And so this whole process was really hard for me until we did the move-in inspection. Now, in 18 seconds, I send out an invite to do a move-in inspection to my tenants. They take their phone, they walk through the property, they check off a checklist. Yeah. How are the cabinets in the kitchen? How are the floors? How are the windows? How are the walls? They're checking good. Oh, there's a nick here. Take a picture. Mm-hmm. Show the nick. Then the Rent Perfect system completely saves all that data for me 5-10 years down the road when I've forgotten everything. Yep. That takes me 18 seconds to send that out to them and have them do their own move-in inspection. I have been 100% perfect at this.
Yeah. Because it's
been using this. Because
easy. Yeah.
It's 18 seconds.
Right.
And I'll let them do it on their time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And I'll let them take the pictures and I'll let them take the notes. And the system just saves it for you. So, yeah, listen, after we onboard, then you and I can go learn to surfboard, longboard, snowboard, whatever we want to do.
Right.
But right now, this onboarding is absolutely making it so I don't need a property manager. I don't need a lot of time. I don't even feel like my properties are a second job. It it's really that good, and Rent Perfect offers you that one boarding.
Right.
You really need to be taking advantage of it. If you're a client of ours and you're not having this quick experience, I don't know what you're doing. Reach out to us and say, hey, listen, it's taken me longer to do this than what you're saying.
Yeah.
There might be something that you're doing wrong, but I tell you what, the Rent Perfect system is built just to be quick and fast and efficient.
Right. Yeah, I did the math while we were sitting here, the rough math, right? About 181 seconds to do 6 of usually the most time-consuming components of managing a property. So in the length of this podcast, you could have onboarded or one-boarded 3, 4, 5 clients.
Absolutely.
Kind of crazy.
It's that good.
Yeah.
So make sure you're not spending a ton of time onboarding your tenants. Go to a one-boarding mentality. Let Rent Perfect help you. And until next time, continue to Rent Perfect.